Wimbledon's done. Centre court is empty. Strawberries and cream sales have dived. And Claire Balding's back in her box for another year. But if you're like me and you're still hearing those phantom grunts from the final, or you're wondering why it doesn't smell like fresh cut grass everywhere anymore, I've got the perfect cure for you. We're diving into a film that's been pretty much forgotten now, but it absolutely shouldn't be. It's British, it's charming, and it's totally mid-2000s, and it's got Paul Bettany playing tennis before he turned purple in the MCU. What more could you possibly want from a romantic comedy? This is Wimbledon, and it's the ultimate post-tournament comfort watch. Let's get into it. But before we do, please hit that like button, subscribe for weekly reviews, and drop your favourite sports rom-com in the comments. Yes, it's a genre. Yes, we love them. Let me know what films we need to watch next. The story. It's incredibly simple, but that's part of its charm. Paul Bettany plays Peter Cole, a once promising British tennis player who's now ranked 119th in the world, and he's very, very ready to retire. Think every British men's tennis player before Andy Murray, they could have been the inspiration for this movie. He's been given a wild card to play his final Wimbledon. The plan, turn up, lose, fade into retirement, and get rid of the pressure of never living up to those centre court expectations. But of course, as it always does, life serves up a plot twist in the form of Lizzie Bradbury, played by Kirsten Dunst. She's a rising star in the women's game. She's confident, fiery, American, basically the complete opposite of Peter, and naturally the two fall into that chaotic love affair during the tournament. Romance, of course, blossoms, rackets smash, and both their careers hang in the balance because apparently dating your opponent at Wimbledon is just part of the warm-up routine now. It's cheesy, of course, it's a bit mad, but weirdly, it works, it comes together nicely. Talk about the casting though, because it's surprisingly stacked. Paul Bettany is spot on as the bumbling, self-deprecating Brit. His dry humour, his awkward charm, they carry this film. He's not your typical leading man, which makes him the underdog, and it makes the story feel more real. He's just a bloke who's tired of losing, not just on the court, but in life it would appear. Kirsten Dunst riding high off of Spider-Man 2, she brings that energy and confidence as Lizzie. She's a brilliant contrast to Bettany's nervous wreck, and whilst their chemistry isn't explosive, it feels more natural for a rom-com, like two people with completely different lives who click just enough to make it interesting. You've got James McAvoy, yes of course, Professor X himself as Peter's cheeky little brother, serving up psychic energy and betting aggressively on his own brother to lose. It just works. Favreau is here as well, the god that is. He's obviously Peter's Hollywood agent. He's just there to be uninterested in tennis and a bit of extra comic relief. You've got Sam Neill, who is playing Lizzie's father. He's overbearing and a great character, but a solid cast. There's not really a weak link here. Even Peter's family, you know, there's great casting throughout. But the tennis, that's sort of what we're here for. Is it realistic? Sort of. Like if you're watching with your mate who plays a couple of times a year at David Loyal, they'll be like, oh, this is amazing. But if you're a tennis purist, you'll roll your eyes a bit. It's dramatised, of course. Not as bad as Challengers. What a nonsense that film was. The actual tennis scenes are surprisingly well shot. You can follow the rallies, the shots, and you sort of lean into them. But Bettany and Dunst were clearly coached enough to make it convincing. There's no awkward swing and cut to a ball in play moment. It's enough. The final match is pure sports movie magic though. Peter is on centre court playing the world number one. There's rain delays, there's tension, there's inner monologues, and of course the full stadium chanting. This is a very British underdog. It's like if Rocky wore Umbro and he loved the weather. But here's what I love. The film actually uses Wimbledon as a backdrop for self-worth and second chances, and it's not really about winning the tournament, it's about proving to yourself that you're not done. And honestly, that's what hits harder. When you've just watched legends rise on the courts, everybody can get behind an underdog story. We can all want this, and it's there. We've just got to get that motivation and get out and take it. But let's talk about the romance in this movie as well. This is where I thought it might fumble, but it doesn't. It's predictable, of course it is, but that's why we love it. It follows every rom-com beat. but it's got a weirdly comforting feel to it, so it's very rewatchable. This is the kind of film that you put on with your wife, you know, when you just want something nice and easy. It doesn't need to be the end of Wimbledon, of course. I watched it with my wife after the final, and you know what? It's a really good movie. She liked the love story and she loves the tennis, and neither of us had to concentrate too hard. It's not Notting Hill, but it's not trying to be. It's a simple serve and volley love story wrapped around a famous grass court, and for 90 minutes, it's enough. Also, you've got to give him points for keeping it relatively clean. It's cheeky but not crude. British humour at its safest. There's no forced cringe, just a bit of flirty banter and a lot of emotional overhead smashes. So now that 2025 Wimbledon has wrapped, here's why you should absolutely watch or rewatch this film right now. If you're still in that tennis mindset, if you need to wind down from the emotional roller coaster of centre court on Sunday, if you want something light-hearted that still feels connected to the tournament you just binged for 2 weeks, then this film hits better once the real event is over. There's no pressure, there's no rooting for your favourite, just a fun little romantic comedy set in the world that you were just immersed in for a couple of weeks. It's like the epilogue to the tournament. It's what comes after. Just watch it and have some fun. So if you're having tennis withdrawals, this is the cinematic version of a warm cup of tea and a couple of bourbons. You don't need to be in love with rom-coms or be a hardcore tennis fan. It's just a nice movie in the best possible setting. It's excellent, and it really is a lovely movie. So that is Wimbledon wrapped for me as well. It's a basic but solid rom-com with enough charm, tennis, action and quirky British humour to make it a real worthwhile watch, especially now that the real tournament is over. It's not a Grand Slam winner, but it definitely makes it out of the first round. It's a 3 out of 5 for me. It's a competent, solid movie. But tell me, have you seen Wimbledon? Did you watch this year's tournament, and who were you rooting for? I hate Sinner, Mr. Cheater, but hey, he's great. But drop your thoughts in the comments below, hit that like button and subscribe for more reviews, deep dives and movie madness every single week. Of course, I am Ash from Gedgehammer Reviews. We're smashing through cinema one serve at a time. I will see you on the next one. But until then, please keep on smashing. Have an amazing day. I'll see you next.